Welcome to my mess. So I've got the O-ring in on that oil pickup tube. I've pulled this gear off so that I could prime at least to this port here with just my drill on there. So we've got oil pumping out. You can see my mess here. It was just shooting out of that port there. So that means we've got oil. That O-ring is working just mint. So I'm gonna get the timing cover on, hook up my fuel, throttle, assembly, whatever. And then I'm gonna crank this over until I have oil coming out of this port here, which is fed via this tube to an oil pressure gauge right there. And then we should have oil popping out of the tops of all of these rocker pedestals, and that should be lubing this whole motor up. Oh, look, it's still dripping. Look at that. So that feeds there, which comes into this port here, which feeds into this thing here. What this is here is our oil filter bypass. That's what that is. This will feed down, across, up into the filter, back, up and out that hole. But if the filter becomes plugged, this opens and lets oil into here through this hole here, and then keeps this motor lubricated even though it's bad or plugged oil. We've got oil coming out of all these little ports here, which means the rockers are getting oil. They're the last part of the system. We are good to plug this little shitter back together, and hopefully we can start it up today. We're back together. I've just got to prime out the fuel system there, so that's not going to take long. And then we're going to crank this over. I've got the air box off with my block off board. Only way to shut this down if it runs away is to starve it for air. This is my jumper for the fuel pump, so I'm going to go give this thing some chooch and see if it'll start here. Mint. And we had about 40 some odd PSI of oil pressure. Mint. I've got to rig this plug into this wire here so that when this fuel shutoff goes and pulls, that the fuel pump applies. So I just made a wire that continues that, but also jumpers down to here. So that way, if we ever want to go mechanical fuel pump again, we can just remove this and plug this into here. I'm pretty stoked. I just tested it. It works mint.